So this is Art of Space. The Art of Space. Yes, it is. This is a cool book, and instead of being in the pretty big too, hardcover, and instead of being in the art section, it was in the science section. It was in the space section, where the astrophysics are. It's Art of Space, but it's science. It's space, and it's also science fiction also in here. So it's got really cool space scenes. Like these are like sort of other planets, but not really. Like that's sort of like Mars, but not really. You see? So I think it's a artist kind of like interpretation, rendition of space. So it's got some like realistic stuff, and it's got some you got the astronaut and everything. It's got some realistic stuff, and it's got some fantasy stuff in here, which is a great mix, because I know like anybody that likes space, there you go, also likes science fiction. Usually they go together, you know, because it's kind of like you know, we don't know what's out there, so we just imagine what's out there. And people have been imagining what they don't know for like since the beginning of time, since the beginning of people. We've been imagining what we don't know, you know. Once we know it, we're like, oh, we know it, but we don't really know it, you know. There's always more to know. Like, we never like know it all, you know what I mean? And so these pictures are just fantastic. Like, if you like space, and you like sort of you know, astrophysics or whatever, and you like science fiction, this is fantastic, because it's actually the only book I have found with this kind of subject matter. You know, I would figure like someone would put a space book together earlier, but they didn't. So Ron Miller put this together. This is by Ron Miller, and he put the book together. He's an artist. He's a pretty good artist, and he put this book together, and he did a good job at it too. Here is like, so they have like more stuff here. Like, for example, this part is picturing the future. So this is space. This is like a projection of what technology will be sometime in the future. You know, so it's pretty cool. There's a lot to read in here, a lot of stuff. It's got like artist renditions. I mean, like this is like, it looks like that photograph, but I don't think it's an actual photograph. I think this is a drawing, because this is basically art of space. So, you know, so there's a lot of imagination in it. Here are some, these are really cool, like projected spaceships and space stations. That's really cool. Let me show you some of that. And you can see like, and you know what's nice about them is that they're well designed. They're not just like functional. They're like actually, you know, they're beautiful. They're really nice looking, and you could see like, yeah, more of them. This is really cool. Yeah, like, I don't know how, well, I found this book because I like space and science and physics and astrophysics and whatever. And yeah, I went to the science section of the bookshop, which was actually right next to the art section of the bookshop. It was just a little bit, it was like across the floor. It wasn't really far away. It was like, there's the art section and there was the science section. And of course, there was this book. And the interesting thing is, like, you can find art books in other sections. Sort of like, there was this, on the other side of the space science was a different kind of science. It was like an earth science. And it had like art of whales or something. And it had art of, like art of animals and whales. And there were like whales in there and all kinds of animals and stuff, but it was all drawn. It was like, there weren't like photographs of it. It was just art of whatever topic it was. So sometimes the art books are just in the topic books, you know, in the topics area. I found a lot of like, you know, there are some art books that are like in the science fiction area, just because the subject matter is mostly fantasy science fiction. Like the Spectrum books are always in the sci-fi area, instead of being in the art area, because like, it's interesting because you never know, like not all the art books are in the art area. So this is pretty cool. More of like, so a lot of this is just like, sort of like an artist, like rendition, sort of like an invention of fantasy of the future. Like they actually just invent the design for stuff. They didn't actually invent the actual thing because it doesn't exist, but that is the iconic picture from 2001: A Space Odyssey. See that? And that was the space station that turns around, and that wheel uses centrifugal force as gravity. You know, you just kind of walk on the outside of the wheel and the wheel spins and it feels like a gravity. See that? So cool. And then when you go further, you get into like interesting things in here, like rockets, ray guns. It starts getting like fun. It's not like a serious art. This is not a science book. You know, this is not an art of science book. This is like it's got some serious like hardcore science in here. And it's got some like just fun, lighthearted stuff in here. As you can see, there's more of this kind of art. Really, really cool art book. It's just aliens. Let me see, wait. Okay, aliens. So now it does get into, so it gets into science fiction and it gets into fantasy. You know, so if you like sci-fi fantasy but you also like science, this is the book. It's so cool. And it's got more of these like crazy aliens. And the thing is, like, I've seen this kind of aliens before. I think when we actually see aliens, they're not gonna look anything like anything that we can even like understand. I mean, they might look, you know, close to what we have here, but you know, but they might not. They might be like, you know, who knows what we're gonna find out there. There's more like art of that stuff here. So as it gets into the end of the book, it's got this really cool Jim Burns painting by Jim Burns, this one, of an astronaut looking at an alien. Pretty cool. And he's a really good science fiction artist. He's a great artist illustrator, and basically a lot of his stuff is science fiction. Really cool stuff. And then, what the hell? Aliens from H.R. Geiger, the German dude. That's, oh, man. So yeah, so check it out. This is actually a really good book. Hardcover, like really well put together. It's got a foreword by Carolyn Porco and Dan Durna, and it's the history of space art from the earliest visions to the graphics of the modern era. Cool stuff. Nice book. The Art of Space. If you can find this book, check it out. It's awesome art book. So if you guys like the video, please like and subscribe and share if you like, and I will see you in another video. Take care, guys.